half as much as the stimulus was last time. So this bill proposes $600 per individual who earns up to $75,000 a year and $1,200 for a couple earning a total of $150,000 a year. Plus, there's $600 per child. That's actually a little more than last time. Last time it was $500 per child. And I have this up. I love this. This is a stimulus calculator just put out by the folks at Omni Calculator. And so if you make a little more than those amounts, you can still qualify to collect some of the stimulus money. You put in your income and some other, just a few details about yourself. It will help you calculate how much money you can expect to get in your stimulus check.
And Heather, another big one that people want to know about, what about the employment benefits? Will they be extended? What kind of money will we see with that?
Yeah, and really in the nick of time, but again, not quite as much as some of the extras that were in the first CARES Act. So what this bill is proposing is an additional $300 a week. You'll remember last time it was $600 a week, but this is $300 a week for a total of 11 weeks for people who are collecting unemployment. It also continues that pandemic emergency unemployment compensation. That's for people who have already exhausted their state unemployment benefits. This continues that emergency benefit for another 10 weeks. And then also, you know, you have people who maybe they work part-time or they're self-employed or they're freelancers or they work in that gig economy. So that pandemic emergency assistance, that also is going to be continued for 11 additional weeks for those people. Obviously not the full amount that full-time employed people will be getting, but this will be help to compensate them as they're only getting part of their incomes.
And then Heather, what about any help with rent or to prevent evictions? A lot of people want to know about this one too.
Yeah, that is a huge one. We're still looking at a major crisis, but this does sort of push that situation down another month. So first of all, this bill has $25 billion with a B, $25 billion for rental assistance. It also extends the deadline for states to use original CARES Act funding that is for rental assistance. Not all the states had used up all of that money yet. So this gives them more time to use up that money. Plus they'll have that additional $25 billion. And then you'll remember we had the CDC eviction moratorium. This was a nationwide eviction moratorium. It's due to expire on December 31st, but this bill extends a national eviction moratorium for one more month through January. We will continue to see that issue. We're still continuing to see people being pulled into court, eviction court, as landlords are saying they still need to get paid. Obviously, they're in dire financial straits as this issue continues to go on. Hopefully, the rental assistance will help some of them with that. But also, we're seeing families going through court because not in all cases those CDC moratoriums were being applied or were used properly to prevent an eviction. But again, that moratorium will be continued for at least another 30 days until the end of January.
And if Congress is able to get everything lined up tonight, when can people expect this money?
The good news is that this money is expected actually pretty quickly. And that's because the systems are already in place. We've already had the stimulus checks go out the first time. Hopefully there will be fewer snags in the system as we've already gone through one round of this. So those are actually expected to go out shortly after the new year. And then in terms of the unemployment assistance, that is also expected to go out pretty quickly in January as well. I asked the Texas Workforce Commission about that, and they said as long as this money is set up pretty similarly to the way it was set up before, that system's already in place. And so they're saying they should be able to add that extra $300 to people's unemployment benefits pretty quickly. So really early to mid-January, people should expect to start seeing some of this money.
And Heather, is it a good rule of thumb if the people received the full $1,200 in the first stimulus earlier this year, will they know that this $600 is coming for them?
Well, again, it's a slightly different calculation based on your income. This time it's based on $75,000 per individual, $150,000. And so it just depends on what your annual income is. Perhaps your income was a little different over the course of this year. Now we're going into a new year. But roughly, people who fall into the same categories can probably expect, that calculation to be made the same way. But again, the amount isn't going to be $1,200 per individual. It's going to be $600 per individual.
All right, Heather Sullivan breaking it down for us from Fox 26 in Houston. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll now get back out to Capitol Hill, where we will hear from the Congress members. Thank you so much for giving us this insight as we continue to showcase this all evening long. You're watching News Now from Fox.
$70 different members. I also want to acknowledge the extraordinary work of the staffs. I had the opportunity to give a tribute to my staff director, Brian Hughes, who is leaving after many years on the committee. He did a fabulous job advancing this, along with Spencer Nelson, Pat McCormick, Annie Heffler. There were so many others, Lucy Murfitt. That team was extraordinary, but they were joined by an extraordinary team that Senator Manchin had, led by his staff director, Renee. And I apologize, Renee, I'm drawing a blank on the last name, but the individuals there who really helped us advance this, Sam Fowler and so many, we can't thank them enough. I also want to really give sincere thanks to our House partners, because they were this six-corner working group here. Frank Pallone, the chairman at Energy and Commerce Ranking Member Greg Walden, Science Chairwoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, and Science Ranking Member Frank Lewis. We could not have reached an agreement without their leadership and their willingness to work together. But I also want to acknowledge and thank Leader McConnell and Senator Schumer.
All right, everybody, we're going to take another quick 2-minute break here on News Now from Fox. When we come back, we're going to go back out to the U.S. House, where you can see it right here. We are awaiting the House vote there on the $900 billion COVID relief package. That should be coming up later tonight.
I inform the House that Mr. Carson will vote yes on HRES 1270.